Here's already 5 a.m. Let's all rise. Let's begin our Hoon Dok Hae by offering one silent vow to our beloved true parents. Harbo, Sampunere, Zagery Oliver, Kimber, Baro, our most beloved heavenly parents. Today, Tuesday, April the 28th, year 2015, here at Washington Family Church, National Cathedral, here at Washington, D.C., U.S.A. We pray today that our true parents will be victorious in many of their endeavors, especially our true mother who is now leading us into a new world of childrenhood with the true children, true grandchildren, and our true father who is guiding us all, even here in Hoon Dok Hae. We pray for the blessed members too who are attending the true family, that they too will be protected from all harm. They have all the spiritual and physical support from the good spirit world, and we pray for our elder sister, Sanjanin, and her husband Isupnin, and the staff there in the international headquarters in Chungcheong, Korea. We thank our true mother for being concerned right now for the earthquake in Nepal, where over 4,000 people have died, confirmed dead, and more are being reported. We pray for them. We pray also for all our UPS members and the chairman, Dr. Chang Shi-Kian and his family, and all the continental leaders also all over the world, especially Dr. Chong Shik-yong, who is the continental leader of Asia, who is also now in Nepal, and he's safe. And we pray for our own continental leader, Archbishop Kim and his family, who takes care of North America and the Caribbean. We pray for his success always, as we pray for victory and success of all the national leaders also, of all the countries all over the world, of our Family Federation for World Peace Headquarters, especially here in America. We pray for Reverends and Dr. Michael Balfour, his wife Kumiko, the children, his staff there at 4 West 4th Street. We pray for their success as they prepare for the coming of our true mother next month in May, and we pray for their success always, as we pray also for all the regions and districts all over the world. Especially here in District 1, we pray for our district leader, Reverend Ernest and Keiko Patton, and the children. We pray for their success always, that they can reach his goals, and we pray for all the pastors, central leaders all over the world of the Family Federation for World Peace. And we pray for Reverend James Stewart in Tulsa, there in Maryland. We pray that He can always comfort all those people who are near Him about the incident there of violence in Baltimore, Maryland. We pray for peace and harmony there, as it's now a hotbed of racial strife and many others, our Heavenly Parents. We pray for reconciliation and the easing of tension there, as we do also many traditions here. We pray they will be more tolerable today than in northwest of Baltimore. It will be continued as more and more people, conscientious people, would really pray and help all our brothers and sisters there. And we pray for the rest of the Mid-Atlantic area, all the way to Norfolk, Virginia, and the Reverend Zagery Oliver, Father Adrian Barrio in Richmond, and in the Beltway we pray for Miss June and Reverend Robert in Maryland, with co-pastors Reverend and Mrs. Greg Jones and Reverend Jim Boothby. And here in Washington, D.C., we pray for the ACLC chairman, Archbishop Augustus Stallings and his wife and 2 children. We pray for the success of their revivals right now with Reverend Jesse Edwards. We pray that they can always invite all these pastors and ministers to help in easing tensions there in Baltimore and many parts of this country. And we pray for Pastor Reverend Zagery Oliver, his wife Kumisa and daughter Brianna. We pray for unity and the success and protection. And we pray as well for the good health of all the blessed families, especially our chairman of the council, Dr. Sheila Palazzi. We pray for his good health and his family and all the blessed families. We pray for their protection also, our Heavenly Parents, as we are facing a lot of challenges and even accidents, like our brother Elijah. We pray that all the good spirits, absolute good spirits, and all the heavenly generals would always protect our blessed children and all the blessing candidates that are connected here to this church. And we pray all of this in all our names and in my name. At the Master's Christ, take it on, bless every family. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Diane. We're now on a new topic on page 15 on the blessed family and the ideal kingdom, number 1, true family and I. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm truly grateful that you have granted me the opportunity to speak to you today. I am Reverend Moon. No doubt you have already heard about me through many rumors and stories. I have stirred up a good deal of controversy around the world. At the same time, I have initiated a number of events and accomplishments with worldwide impact. I must add that these things have resulted from the historical reality of my having served God to this day. Today, in this brief encounter, I would like to speak to you for a time on the subject, the true family and I, because the world's problems stem from the family. Let us ask what we mean by a true family. Why are mind and body in conflict? That's our first subtopic. Today, if we ask the world in which we live is good or evil, we must answer that it is evil. Why? Then it is evil. It is because whether we consider world history, American history, or the history of any country, there has been constant conflict. Conflict and struggle means that the parties involved will not develop but will necessarily decline. To say that the world is evil implies that America is evil, that Americans are evil, and that we ourselves are evil. If we study ourselves, we cannot deny that within ourselves there is a struggle between mind and body. The origin and cause of this struggle remains a mystery which must be solved. If an individual does not possess a foundation for peace within himself, then he will not be happy. No matter how peaceful his family, his nation, or the world might be, this is because the individual is the true battlefield. As you know, World War I, World War II, and the Cold War have already ended. In the midst of any future conflicts, it will be possible to have a truce. However, the struggle between mind and body has existed from the beginning without a moment's truce. It has continued throughout history, and of course, it continues today. We do not know how much longer it will continue in the future. When we think of this and at the same time consider that God exists, the fact that God would permit the historical struggle between mind and body to continue is a major problem. But if we agree that human beings committed sin, we can understand that it is the human responsibility to indemnify it. God cannot take responsibility upon himself, nor can he interfere with it. Where does the struggle between mind and body originate? We inherit life from our parents and from parents of their parents. And we're now on page 16. If we continue going back in this manner, we eventually arrive at the first generation. That is, the first human ancestors. It is a fact that the struggle between mind and body originated from a problem in the conjugal love of Adam and Eve. Our life originates in our parents' love. Since this struggle began before any of us were born, we have to conclude that the problem relates to the circumstances in which our first parent entered into a love relationship with each other. The love of Adam and Eve was not a love of true happiness. Instead, it was conflict-ridden love. Because the roots of our life are in this love, we must conclude that the conflicts in our inner self originate there. The Bible teaches that because Adam and Eve sinned, they were expelled from the Garden of Eden. After they were driven out of the garden, they began to multiply children. God could not follow them and bless them in marriage, because it was He who had driven them from the garden. Thus we must ask, under whose guidance did they marry? We must concur that because of having fallen into sin, they married in the hands of Satan. Next subtopic, God is working to recreate love. The fall consisted of Eve being tempted by Satan and her later temptation of Adam. Therefore, when our ancestors Adam and Eve established a relationship of conjugal love, that relationship was not a happy one. Instead, it was conflict-ridden. Humanity, because of its roots in that relationship, cannot separate itself from that struggle between mind and body. This reality is very clear, and my explanation is logical. The fall began with immoral love. Due to the love relationship which God did not desire, Adam and Eve united with Satan. They did not become the ancestors of goodness, but rather the ancestors of evil, planting the roots of evil love, evil life, and evil blood lineage. If this is true, then what began with one fallen family grew into tribes, nations, and a world of 5 billion people who are descendants of Satan, incapable of denying that we inherited the lineage of evil parents. Satan betrayed God and stole Eve away from God. No one knew that the blood of this adulterer, Satan, is present within our bodies, or that this is so displeasing to God. How are we going to eliminate these roots within us? Satan dug his roots into our physical body, our flesh. God cannot avoid working to separate good from evil and thus to reverse this situation. God is public-minded and continues on the path of living for the whole, going toward the goal of love and peace. On the other hand, Satan is selfish and individualistic. Satan is always trying to destroy the good side from or through hatred, evil, and war. He intends to prevent the earth from ever returning to God's side. God, who represents goodness, cannot severely punish humanity for having gone with Satan. God's strategy to regain humanity on his side is to allow evil to attack him. He can then later claim indemnity for the damage and abuse. And now we're on page 17. Satan's strategy is to strike first, but in the end, he loses everything. Satan has marched through history, wishing to ruin God's plan through hatred, evil, and war. On the other side, God has been working to recreate humankind through love and peace. When the last days come, Satan has to give over to God's side his spiritual power as a ruler over humanity and the respect which he once enjoyed. Satan initiated or retaliated by coming up with atheism, the ideology of no God, which supported the appearance of humanism, materialism, and communism. After World War II, the struggle between God's side, the right wing, and Satan's side, the left wing, moved to the world level. Further, after World War II, because of the victory of God's side, the world entered a transitional period in which to welcome victory and peace based on or upon the realm of the Christian culture. The present era is the era of the realm of individualism, the era of free sex, the era of children denying parents, the era of parents denying children, the era of denying the couple. Through homosexuality, an attempt is being made to destroy a completely the family ideal. It is this ideal which the Messiah at his second coming intends to establish in order to change this hell into the kingdom of heaven on earth. The Messiah, as a true Father, desires the unity of mind and body, the unity of husband and wife, and the unity of children. And now we have another subtopic, the relationship of spirit and matter. And yes, Reverend Ezra is here. We want to read on page 17.
The relationship of spirit and matter. Problems must still be solved on a worldwide level. They include 1. What came first, matter or spirit? 2. Is the materialist theory or the idealist theory correct? 3. What comes first, reality or concept? 4. Is evolution or creationism correct? Let us attempt to answer these by way of an example. When we observe the animal kingdom, we discover that the first thing formed in a newborn animal is the eyes. The eyes are made of matter. Would those eyes know prior to birth that the sun existed? Being purely material, the eyes do not know, but something or someone prior to the material knew that the eyes were created to see sunlight. Someone knew. Being purely matter, the eyes did not know that the atmosphere existed, but the eyes were formed with eyelids to assure that dust in the air does not damage the eyes. The eyes, being purely material, did not know that steam and other heat radiation could dry the eyes and damage them. But someone knew, and for that reason we blink so that our eyes can stay moist. The conclusion is that through the simple example of the eye, we can solve the great debate over whether thought precedes existence, whether spirit precedes matter, and whether concept precedes reality. We can answer the debate of spirit versus matter, the creationism versus evolution. Given this, we cannot deny that everything was created by God. Therefore, we must return to the original world of creation and realize the kind of self and the kind of family and the kind of world God desires. Turning to page 18, the purpose of religion. Thus, I would like to explain the complicated relationship which came to surround each one of us after the fall. It is logical that if Adam and Eve had not fallen, if it would have been normal for their mind and bodies to have been one, just as God is one. Due to the fall, the body emerged and as another positive, which was opposed to the positive of the conscience, which relates to God. The repulsion between these two positives led to a history of struggle. We must be aware of this. The body becomes the base of operation for hell, and the conscience becomes the base for operation for heaven. Man must not know that he contained within himself the division of two worlds. From this perspective, we all should ask ourselves if our body leads our mind or our mind leads our body. In reality, throughout history, the body has had complete license to lead the mind. If the conscience were strengthened, we would automatically return to God and bring the world to be with God. The fact that the physical body leads the conscience instead of the conscience leading the body originated at the time that our ancestors established a relationship with Satan. This resulted in the power of the false love. The problem is that this power of false love, which tied the first ancestors to Satan, was stronger than the force of the conscience. God, who knows the situation of human beings very well, cannot abandon fallen humanity. Instead, he must establish a strategy to weaken the body-centered force which dominates our conscience. The historical system for salvation, which was created and driven by God, is religion. Religion was necessary in the past and it is still necessary today. God has established many religions according to their different circumstances and antecedents. The world's cultural spheres formed. Until now, religious people do not know what the purpose of religion is: to prevent the body from continuing to lead the mind. If there had been no fall, religion would not have been necessary. Something bad happened, and religion became necessary to correct it. What does God intend to do through religion? He intends to discipline the body. You probably think that by believing in religion you will be saved, that by believing in Christianity you will go to heaven, or that by believing in Buddhism you will go to paradise. But it is those who are united with God's love who will enter heaven. To enter heaven, Adam's family should have been a family whose center was the love of God, a family which had a blood relationship with God. Until now, no one knew that the place where such families dwell is the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, to strengthen the power of the conscience, we must dominate the body. We must liberate our conscience so that it can lead our body by our will. We can then return to the bosom of God's love as original beings, free from sin. If we ask what religion should do, the answer is that it should motivate our body to do something, to do everything it hates to do. What does the body hate most? To fast, to serve, to sacrifice. Furthermore, religion asks us to be an offering. The offering is destined to shed blood. It must be capable of sacrificing its life. Therefore, the Bible tells us that he who is willing to lose his life shall gain. Let me repeat this. Therefore, the Bible tells us that he who is willing to lose his life shall gain it, and he who wishes to save his life shall lose it. This paradox teaches us that if we live according to the flesh, we are going to hell. If we win over the flesh and liberate our conscience, we will go to heaven. If we completely subjugate the body and our conscience stands as a total subjective position, our conscience will open us to unlimited desire and infinite hope. We are now on page 19, and there is a new subtopic, the nature of the conscience, and it is already 5:33, so I think we can come to the end of our reading here today, and we continue tomorrow on that subtopic, the nature of the conscience, on page 19. Is there anyone willing to share from what we read today? True family and I.
Good morning.
Oh yes, Sister Diane, go ahead.
Yes. Just that there's such a tremendous range. Father, in one speech, talks about all of nature, the cosmos, as well as the especially important relationships, how people view him, the public view, the interpersonal connections. It's a total range of the important points in life. He manages to connect all of these together for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Oliver.
What book you read this matter?
That was
For the blessed family, I think.
Blessed Family and the Ideal Kingdom, Book 1.
Oh, that's right. That book. Okay.
Yeah.
It's also in the
Mm.
over the years, this particular stage.
Mm.
And this is, Father, um, I've used this particular one on several occasions to be here to be speaking about the conscience. This is where I've always based it from, off this particular speech. And as Diane had indicated, it's the full range. I think Father wrote this around 97 or 90,
Mm.
95.
Mm.
And this is where the providence is changing about beginning to fellowship on insight into the divine principle, God, understanding of what Word of God is, New Testament era.
Mm.
And as she said, the full range, spectrum of, insights, as it relates to the principle. One of the fathers actually given a lecture on this, as it relates in the beginning when he talked about the Adam and Eve
Mm.
fall, what occurred in the fall, and as he moved up, and I think he predicated out of all that, all the suffering that he had to go through first,
Mm.
as the new figure. He became Word, as we're reading it today, and as he goes into his relationship with conscience.
Mm.
One is extremely, extremely powerful
Mm.
when it comes to our understanding and how we function and what it desires. I know that, I don't know, he even uses servants and when it's in the conscience to liberate us. But what does it like? What does our body don't like? Doesn't like
Yes.
what it likes is sleep
Mm.
and all those other things.
Yes.
To liberate our conscience, we have to dominate the body first.
Yes.
So, I heard this morning in my spirit, restoration is predicated on one sentence, or one statement, or one sentence.
Mm.
Powerful that is.
Right.
I'll explain that. Our attitude.
Right.
Restoration, talking about our attitude. Will determine left or right.
Right.
What this information Father constantly even topics and the purpose of religion is to liberate our conscience.
Mm.
That's the whole purpose. Then what you do with it from there is where the rubber meets the road.
Yes.
And the entities stop. Because of course to some extent their religious experiences have liberated their conscience.
Mm.
But they didn't know it was in the direction of God's will and how to bring the kingdom of heaven on earth through me, through our relationship. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Reverend Oliver. Yeah. What also struck my mind was on page 17 where he says that he talks about the last days. We see all these things, struggles between ideologies of God, the appearance of humanism, materialism, communism. After World War II, the struggle between God's side, right wing, and Satan's side, left wing. Um, Father, the World War II, because of God's victory, the world entered into a transition period in which to welcome victory and peace based on the realm of Christian culture. So that's why Christianity has been so powerful in guiding humanity and saving humanity. And this just came from a man's 3 years of his Christian ministry. And it wasn't flowing very well. It was full of all challenges and persecution and running away and hiding, and it ended up on the cross. As we have gone through Easter, we know we always go through what the beginning and the initial Christianity went through. But you can see its spirit, even with all those struggles, its spirit is so pure and so accurate, so needed by all humanity, so that it has remained to be the sole culture that has made the world survive. And it became like the bridge towards the Lord of the second coming. Now, the Lord of the second coming says here, the present era is the era of the realm, on page 19 still, page 17. The present era is the era of the realm of individualism. Because again, all this Christianity was not able to grow itself to the family level. Jesus and all the disciples did not come up with the idea of being family. So the era of free sex, era of children denying parents, an era of parents denying children, the era of denying the couple. There are all these kind of laws and the rights which are in children have their rights to be whatever they want to be. They say from this age you're free to be this, and you're free from your parents. And then parents also tell their children, oh, when you reach this age, I want you out of my house. You see, it's not an everlasting relationship. Parents and children cannot be determined by age. It was determined and predestined by God to be an eternal relationship. Then it says here, through homosexuality, an attempt is being made to destroy completely the family ideal. So this is the last blow that wants to bring confusion, and it is centered on love. It is hooking itself, this is love. An attempt is being made to destroy completely the family ideal. It is this ideal which the Messiah at the second coming intends to establish in order to change this hell into the kingdom of heaven on earth. The Messiah, as the true Father, desires the unity of mind and body, unity of husband and wife, and unity of children. And we are here working at all these levels of unity between children and parents and husbands and wives and our minds and body. So I think we all know our homework, where we are. And as Reverend Oliver noticed, that our bodies are difficult. Yeah, they dominate our mind instead of our conscience dominating us. We There are things which the body doesn't like to do. If we go above what the body doesn't like to do and we do it, it becomes our habit, then eventually we will bring our conscience above the body's power, and our conscience will always be more prominent and be and profound in our daily life, in deciding our daily life, and therefore we can do better and serve better and work with God better, because God speaks through our conscience and guides us through the conscience. All right, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Reverend. And our mind also is elevated from the body. Yeah. Anybody else wants to share the reading for today? What is striking here is on the last days, Satan retaliated by coming up with atheism, the ideology of no God, which supported the appearance of humanism, materialism, and communism. That's why there's always this theory of evolution that is being offered to students always, when you step on elementary school, high school, and college. And it's good that we learn a little bit of religion, because God created humankind instead of, man evolved from an amoeba and now we become humans. And as we read today also about the eye, it says here that nobody knows. There is a creator who knows the atmosphere, and the sun is out there, so the eyes was created to be moist always. So we have eyelids, and that design came from the great designer or the creator. And I will post it today just to support creationism, or we are descended from God and not,
This service is provided by... You entered 1. There are 5 participants in this conference. Please announce yourself.
Yeah, Francis here again. So we're just talking about creationism. So at this time they always kick us out. Anyway, anybody else wants to share about the readings that we read about the true family and I? God is working to recreate love, the relationship of spirit and matter. So if there's none, let's all rise and have unison prayer.
Our most beloved Heavenly Parents, we're so grateful for this reading about the true family and I, and about our two parents, about spirit and matter, and God's restoration of love. We pray, our Heavenly Parents, that we can share all these readings and knowledge about your love and will, that many people doesn't know that you're a God of sorrow and suffering. We pray that we can always comfort your heart and give you back joy by offering our lives to the betterment of humankind. We pray, our Heavenly Parents, that we can teach all these messages that we have read from the other book, the messages of peace and the divine principle, and the speeches from the ideal kingdom of family. And we pray, our Heavenly Parents, that you give us courage to speak out to our friends and relatives and even people from our nations, and here in America, here in Washington, D.C., we pray we can reach out to all these establishments around this church and all these people who are living around this church. We pray that we can always invite them to our activities here, and we pray that we can introduce to them Bible studies and the ways to learn about the divine principle, the teachings of our Father, Reverend Samuel. And we pray all of this in all our names and in my name, Athanasius Francis, Catalan, blessed and of family. Adieu, adieu, adieu.
우리의 소원은 통일, 루메로 소원은 통일, 이모 손바쳐서 통일, 통일이여 오라. 이 교회 산이는 통일, 이 나라 찬대 통일, 통일이요 소라, 통일이요 오라.
Good morning to you, our beloved heavenly parents of heaven and earth and humankind.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to our true parents,
Good
the
morning,
true
our
children,
heavenly parents.
the true grandchildren, and all our brothers and sisters. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Oliver, Diane, everybody there, and the sister from Atlanta. Yes. Good morning. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.